and it's just about starting right now, like in 30 minutes. And I have some two beautiful smiles in the studio. And it's all because it's Friday. I'm tempted to ask them about my trivial question, but no, I will not. Let them talk first. And after that, they'll answer my trivial question for me because they came here on a Friday. The Department of Communication Studies of the University of Ghana, Legon, in partnership with Influencer Africa and with support from Canada Fund for Local Initiatives, is launching a media information literacy campaign towards a peaceful election this year, and that is what you and I want. Now, the campaign generally targets Ghanaian youth in urban communities who are prone for being used for electoral violence, by reaching them through influencers, community information centers, and traditional media. And so your guess is as good as mine. You know what we're going to be talking about right now as we inch towards the 2024 elections. Very, very pertinent issues. One of the ways by which we can maintain peace and order is to do what they call conscious activism. They'll be talking about that as well. I have in the studio Professor Abena Enimwa Yebua Bening. She is the head of the Department of Communication Studies, University of Ghana. You are most welcome to the studios of Z101.9.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Alrighty. And I also have Madame Delasi Adukonu, I got it right. She's Senior Strategist, Influencer Africa. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
And I must say, I like your colors today. One is wearing the colors of Z101.9 FM. I'm going to find out how come you knew the colors to wear today, but you are most welcome once again.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to have a great discourse. Very, very brief, but it's going to be quite insightful. Just tell us briefly what, let me start from Madame Abena Enimwa.
Right, there you go.
Okay, I should add the professor.
Oh, Abena works fine.
Abena works fine, all right, Abena. So what specifically is the objective for the campaign?
So during this period, as we inch towards the election in December, one of the main characteristics of our information ecosystem is misinformation. Information that is not exactly true, or sometimes even when true, being used for different purposes than should be. And Ghanaians generally, but also our youth, will be prone to such misinformation, which eventually can affect their decisions in the elections, even their actions. If the wrong news is posted that something is happening in your area and you rush outside trying to find out and also being prompted to engage in violence, that's a problem. And so we believe at the University of Ghana's Department of Communication Studies that our expertise in media and communication places us in good stead to do some education on media and information literacy to get Ghanaians generally, but especially young people, to become a bit more conscious in their information consumption, in their information use, in their readiness to act on information they receive, especially in social media spaces, because oftentimes nobody's gatekeeping those spaces to make sure that the information there is verified. So what we're doing in this campaign essentially is to come together, mobilize resources between us, our expertise, Influencer Africa and their access to influencers and content creators, media personalities, have them come together to have conversations about how can they contribute to a cleaner information ecosystem as we lead to the election, and also to get us to produce short messages that we share on social media and traditional media, so that people, when they come into contact with these short messages, they are learning something. You're learning about how to verify election-related information. You're learning how to be conscious before you click to share. So very short messages like that. But ultimately, to get Ghanaians to become aware that there is misinformation out there and you have to protect yourself lest you are led into the wrong kinds of decisions and actions.
That definitely is a very good initiative here. What, if I may ask, is the age brackets? Well, I know you are targeting the youth. What exactly is
Yes, so in fact, the broader target is all Ghanaians, because this election is about us, and we want to wake up on December 8th and still have a Ghana that is safe to stay in. But the primary target would be young people. You're talking from about 15 all the way to about 25, especially because they are in digital spaces. And oftentimes they are the ones that, especially those in peri-urban areas, they are the ones that may be co-opted by politicians for devious purposes. And so they are the ones that we're targeting. And so in fact, when you were introducing the discussion, you mentioned that we're also dealing with community information centers. When you go into villages and peri-urban communities, loudspeakers and their pseudo broadcasting. So we're going to those spaces also to do some public education, to target the urban youth in those areas.
Let me come quickly to you, Delasi. May I call you Delasi?
Yes, darling.
All right. So today is Friday, so it's all about first names. All right. So how effective, if I may ask, have these campaigns been done over the years? How effective have they been?
So I think this partnership is happening for the first time because Creatorthon on its own has happened before, and we've had a few partnerships, but this is the first time we are partnering with the University of Ghana Department of Communication to run this particular campaign. But then with our previous extensive experience with influencers and working with influencers, we know that they have become like a third mouthpiece, especially of the youth. Gone are the days when it was only maybe the government officials and the journalists who were sharing information and stuff. Now it's social media. Anybody can get up, go and post, and then people will see. And there's actually a whole lot of influencers and content creators with a whole lot of following, right? I think my boss Ijalaye was mentioning how one influencer can have the following of an entire radio station. So it is very imperative that these people who do not have the media training that you journalists typically have, also have this opportunity to learn how to protect information, and in so doing protect themselves, because their integrity is also very important in all of this. So we've had previous successful creator-thons and other activities with influencers, and we see it as a great platform to also sensitize them and spread the message further about responsible reporting during the elections.
Right. I'm not... Okay,
if I may just put things in context for
yes.
because she's brought Creatorthon.
Exactly.
So you asked the history behind this. In 2020, the Department of Communication Studies did a similar campaign. At the time, we got media personalities and celebrities to record these short messages that we shared on social media. This year, we got support from the Canadian High Commission to do a similar thing. But then I spoke with Ijalaye, who now heads Influencer Africa, and I wanted some access to influencers. I want to use influencers to collaborate with influencers to develop some of these short messages. And she said, hang on, Abena, we do this thing called Creatorthon. We bring creators, content creators, influencers together, lots of them, have conversations in a fun environment, learn together, and they create content, because that's what they are, creators. So why don't we marry what you seek to do with the platform offered by Creatorthon? And so tomorrow what we are doing is actually a media and information literacy Creatorthon.
Creatorthon. This is a mouthful.
Exactly.
A media information. Hey, we're going to be singing that song pretty soon. But
research in the university that shows that generally our youth lacks what we call media and information literacy skills. And so these kinds of interventions are how we are contributing to getting Ghanaian youth to become a bit more aware that as a user of media and information content, the burden is on you to be critical, the burden is on you to evaluate, the burden is on you to be responsible and ethical when you are clicking to share, when you are creating your own content to share. You have to be conscious of the next person and make sure that what you're putting out there is not negatively going to affect them. But what you're receiving also, you're putting up your protective barrier so that they don't negatively affect you.
So that brings us to what probably you would call the conscious activism. What's the difference between that and the mere activism?
So we added the qualifier conscious because it ties back to what she's saying, that sometimes you have good intention, but the manner with which you are going about it or the information that you are using to support your point may be flawed, and in so doing it negates the intention you have and might even throw your activism out the window. We've seen it happen a lot in recent times, because currently we are seeing a lot of youth actually being caring about social issues. Youth are speaking up. It's not like how we used to be so nonchalant and just going about our time. Now we are actually waking up every day, checking on what's going on in the country, what our taxpayer money is being used for, what social cause we have to speak up for. And in so doing, there's, as Prof said, people are not really verifying information. So you might go and find information that supports what you are pushing for, only to realize that it is false information, it is exaggerated, it is biased, or one other thing like that. And things like that, they even cause discord even within the movement, because there are people who will be part of the movement and will say, but this is not what we are standing for, and they start moving away. So even in activism, that's why it is much more important that we share accurate information and use that to sensitize people to join causes. And also that's why we are talking about information verification, because propagating wrong information can
is it only about wrong information? Because sometimes it could be relatively true. So your focus probably is on my reaction. I shouldn't react. I should rather respond to the information. And one of it is to pause, like Paul said.
Exactly.
And then look at things. Yes. Is this worth it? Is this? Have you been to, maybe to you, Professor Enimwa, have you been to schools, as in secondary schools and all of that? Because this is where we can find as they grow.
Yeah, not for this project, but we've done research. I mentioned earlier that we've done research on media and information literacy. We've gone across secondary schools in the country and sampled, I think, about 1,002 students in secondary schools to test their media and information literacy. So we have proof that there are some gaps in knowledge and skills when it comes to people's understanding of the media ecosystem, the biases in the forces at play and the interests that are behind information that you consume. We know that there are gaps in knowledge within that demographic. Yes.
Right, now let's talk about tomorrow. So I'll direct that to you. What are we expecting tomorrow?
So at its core, Creatathon is about content creators coming together to learn and experience things in a fun way. So what we realize working with creators is their way of learning is very different. It's not, if you call it a seminar or a lecture or whatever, you wouldn't get them. Even if they are there, they wouldn't pay attention. So how do we repackage valuable information in a fun and exciting and engaging way, so that they come, they have fun, but they also take some learnings away? So tomorrow is going to be, take it as like the most fun class you've ever been in. It's going to be very interactive, very colorful. There's even cash prizes to be won.
Whoa!
Yes, for sharing what you've learned. So it's going to be a lot of, there's music, there's snacks, there's drinks, and there's a lot of content creators interacting with each other whilst we all learn from our panelists of influencers and experts about how to identify real, false, biased, and exaggerated information.
How can I be part of it if I just want to walk in?
So you can go to Influencer Africa's Instagram page, influenceraf_. The link is in our bio. You can reserve your seat there, or you can just show up at Bouquet Foundation. It's for free. It's absolutely free. It's absolutely free. So sign up via the link, and let's see you all tomorrow at 12 p.m. at Nobuke Foundation.
What form will the campaign be? What form will it be? Will it be roundtable discussions, question and answers? Because you talked about fun.
Yeah, so there's panels. So there's going to be a panel discussion with Q&As from the audience as well, and then a lot of interactive sessions in booths as well for if you need even further one-on-one learning.
And there's also opportunity during the event. She mentioned the monies to be won, because we have a challenge, a content creation challenge, where influencers can do what they do best, create content by which they educate young people. And then we see which one is the best, and they take home something.
Really?
So, I mean, the space we're creating tomorrow is this space where you just come and you want to day. You want to take photos, you want to create your content, you want to talk to your people. A young influencer, content creator, yes.
Okay, so are you also targeting, people want to see their favorite celebrities and all of that.
Right.
Are they part of the influencers that you're bringing?
Yes, because I mentioned earlier, and in fact when you were introing, where there's a collaboration between experts, academics, Creatorthon platform, influencers, traditional media, and the community information centers. The event tomorrow is centered on the influencers and content creators. So if you're an influencer, a content creator, you have any meaningful following out there, tomorrow join us, because we have a space for you where you will learn, but also you would feel free to be able to create content by which to say a word or two to your followers that this period, be careful what you consume. This period, be careful what you share, etc., etc.
What about the community information center operators? What's going to be their role there?
Right. So we meet them separately. Same tomorrow at the Department of Communication Studies. We've selected a couple of them from peri-urban areas, and we're having a training session for them. Thereafter, we record these short messages, audio versions of the short messages that they'll be playing on their platforms to communicate and educate community members. And then sometime later in the month, people from the department are actually visiting the community information centers to do public education there as well in different languages.
So if I want to support this great venture, Delasi, what do I do?
First off, come on board tomorrow. Let's launch the campaign, but also beyond tomorrow, all hands on deck, so that we spread the good message to all Ghanaians that there's a lot of information out there, and it's our responsibility to pause, research, reflect before we reshare.
Pause, reflect,
yes,
before
research
to
see whether it's true or not.
Absolutely.
Before you reshare. Yes.
Great.
And if I may just add a bit to how you can support beyond
because it's very important.
Present tomorrow. The call is also that use your pages, your platforms, your spaces to help us push the messages as far as they can go. So beyond tomorrow, these short messages we're looking to create. Make your platform available to post them so that the people who have access to your platform come into contact with these messages. Right. We believe that that's very important. And for those of you who have a voice and a face, whatever not, help us by recording a short message. And then we can use that as part of the campaign.
Because I was going to ask,
well.
Apart from tomorrow, what's going to happen? So it means that from now until the elections are over, and even post-elections, there's going to be still those.
Absolutely.
And I believe that it's not only when we have elections coming up, like the election year before these will be done, right? We would want to be doing all of these things to soak them in.
Exactly.
Great. So it's a campaign generally targeting Ghanaian youth in urban communities who are prone to being probably used for electoral violence, and so they reach them through influencers, community information centers, and traditional media. Tomorrow, this wonderful campaign moment is coming up where?
At Nobuke Foundation, East Legon, around Mainswick Hotel.
And the time is?
It's 12 p.m.
Okay, so what would be your final, I'll start from you, Delasi first, and I'll go to Prof. Your final advice to young people as far as tomorrow is concerned.
Yes. So tomorrow and beyond, the message we are trying to drive home is that you have to take that extra step of verifying anything that you see before you reshare, because your credibility, your integrity is also at stake. Influencers can attest to the fact that when they are involved in certain negative things, certain brands and campaigns don't want to work with them, so they even lose money as well. So it's very important for all of us to check before we reshare any content.
Check before we reshare. Look, a lot of young people are really glued to their partisan affiliations, right? Your advice?
Well, my advice is that because it is partisan, remember that it has biases, and not everything it says may be true. It may say things just to be able to push agenda. And so be careful that you are not the tool for somebody's agenda. And the way to do it is to become a conscious information user. So however much you believe in the party or the candidate, what they say, what their followers say, what other people on the other side of the equation say. In all cases, we are saying pause. Just take a minute when you're reading that information and ask yourself some critical questions. This information, where is it coming from? Do I trust the source? Can I trust the source? How can I verify it? Where can I go and look to see whether the same thing is being shared there or that it is being queried? Before I click to share, ask myself, this information I'm sharing, why am I sharing it? If somebody receives it and acts on it, have I helped them? Have I hurt them? Have I helped Ghana? Have I hurt Ghana? If we ask ourselves these kinds of questions, we will be better off.
And so there we have it. It's all about our intent and also thinking about the repercussions of whatever it is we share, we do, we post out there as far as the coming elections are concerned, particularly targeted at the youth. So the event is tomorrow. I've been speaking with Professor Abnai Nimwa Yeboah Benning. She's the head at the Department of Communication Studies, University of Ghana. Thank you so much for passing by.
Thank you, NY.
Thank you so much. Also, the Lassie Adukonu, I got it right, senior strategist at
Influencer Africa.
Influencer Africa. Thank you very much, lovely ladies, for passing by. And I believe that we are passing by tomorrow to enjoy whatever it is you are putting on the plate.
Definitely.
And I know also that we are going to see the impact of what you've done during and after the 2024 elections.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for passing by. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
And thank you for wearing Z Multimedia.
I have pink and purple. I don't know why you are refusing to see.
I am
See what
things,
is
but
happening here.
they look
See
good.
what is happening
All
here.
right, okay.
And see.
All
I'm
right.
repping.
All right, you win. But look, let me ask you my trivia question because you came on my show.
Okay.
And the trivia question
my
is
goodness.
that for $30,000, will you receive 5 hot and edited slaps from, what do you call it, wrestler, American wrestler? Don't worry. The Rock, they call him The Rock.
Okay.
Yes, just 5.
Okay.
Would you receive it for a whopping $30,000?
Absolutely no.
Why not?
No, the money is not that big a deal like that. I'm not taking no 5 slaps
Only
from
5?
The Rock.
Really?
I won't. I'm sorry.
Have you seen his
In this
muscles?
Ghana, wait,
I
Nyabo,
will
tell me back.
not.
In this Ghana, you 30,000, you won't.
Mm-mm.
Why?
Masumi, you're flexible. I don't want to
Sir,
mess it up. No.
You are not suffering enough. Sister, speak my language, sister. 5.
Add 2 more zeros and we can have a
Oh
conversation.
my goodness.
2 more zeros. That means
Yes.
we are entering into
3 million.
as we are talking
No,
now.
'cause have you seen his muscles? One slap from the
That's
Rock.
that's why I chose
The
him.
reconstruction in your
Yeah.
ear will
Redesign.
cost more than $30,000.
yeah.
So make it 3 million.
No.
We can have a conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Thank
for passing
you,
by,
NY.
Professor Abnai Nimwa Yeboah Benning, head of Department of Communication Studies, University of Ghana, and the Lassie Adukonu, senior
Thank you.
strategist with
Influencer Africa.
Africa. Lovely conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.